All right, guys. Thought we'd be coming in here on a Monday after win down in Atlanta, and obviously we didn't get to make that trip, and obviously disappointing as we sat there. I guess last Thursday at noon or 1 o'clock, whatever time we meet on Thursday, and you feel like everything's good, and then you get reports, and the one thing I'll say is, I think people take it for granted out there, like how impressive our kids have been for 8 weeks, 9 weeks really with an open week. I said earlier, I think it's like I'm talking to myself sometimes. It's kind of like move on to the next question. But our kids did an incredible job for, 9 weeks, including that open week of really having nothing at all, no issues. And then, when you least expect it and you think you're all good. And I talk to our guys all the time about, keep your guard up. Don't let your guard down. Don't, just pretend like everybody's got it out there. And I think when you look at the numbers in Allegheny County, with COVID right now, the number just keeps going up. I was in the 500s yesterday. I keep an eye on it. Just the more people out there that have it, the more chance you have as you're moving around this city of getting it. Whether it's a doorknob, whether it's a counter at McDonald's, you don't know where it's going to be, or in Tallahassee somewhere. I mean, it's the crazy thing is you don't know where it came from. But we've been cleaned up until last week, and it's obviously disappointing. I feel bad for Georgia Tech as well, and obviously us, our kids. We work so hard, and nobody tries to get it on purpose, but sometimes it creeps up and gets you, and it got us last week, and we're working hard on it. It's serious. This is a serious deal, and like I said, I feel bad for our kids. Our kids were disappointed. I guess whatever it was it Thursday afternoon, I guess. So now we move on to the next. Obviously, Georgia Tech, was not canceled. It's postponed to December, and we work on, the Virginia Tech, great football team again. I think they're seventh in the country in rushing offense, number one in the ACC probably. Hendon Hooker's, running the show there for them. Played against them a year ago. They know how to run the football. They're good at it. They're good at scheming you up, and then defensively, their front four, is to get another ACC front four that our offensive line will have to handle, that's kind of with the new coordinator. Obviously, Bud Foster's not here, so that'll be a little bit different than what we saw last year. We ran into a buzzsaw down in a storm down at Virginia Tech last year, so be a little bit different defense that we'll have to deal with this year. So first time, what are they going to do to us? We'll have to find out there. But their front four is really good, and Hendon Hooker and Khalil Herbert, their tailback number 21, as well as Trey Turner, their wideout number 11. Goes up and gets the ball. He's our leading receiver. So with that, I'll open it up. I'm sure you guys got some questions.
Pat, based on the number of absences you were anticipating for the Georgia Tech game, and maybe you can tell us how many that was. Could you have physically played the game with those absences?
I'm not going to get into numbers. I don't make those decisions. Our chief medical officers make that decision as far as whether you could or couldn't. I can tell you this: the numbers weren't so bad that we probably couldn't have played it. Okay, so I mean, if we got 22, we can play. Okay, so we weren't down to 20, 21, Jerry. I can tell you that. But to me, it doesn't come down to whether gosh, did we have 33? We could have played it. Whatever. In the ACC, we don't have a number put on that thing because I don't think you put a number on our student athletes. I think that's a bad deal when you start putting, well, if we have this many, we can go. Since the beginning, I've told our kids I'm going to fight for them. And again, in July and August, it was about their safety and taking care of them, not taking care of me, taking care of them and making sure they're safe. So, Jerry, the one thing I would say is I think it's a lot different when you're home than when you're playing on the road. Okay, when you've got to go on the road, if you're unsure what's on that airplane, and then we travel 2 hours on an airplane, which, I told you I complained earlier in the year about, how come Pitt has all these road games, and was it did we have a problem going down to Tallahassee? Was there a stewardess? Was there a bus driver? Who knows what happened? I don't know. That's the crazy thing with this whole deal. You don't know, but do we put our kids at risk on another airplane for 2 hours on new buses in a new hotel? Waiting all day in a hotel for there's so many things you look at, but just, we just jeopardize the next week and the next week, and we jeopardize our football team and our kids. And I'm not going to do that for them and their parents. If that makes sense. And neither, again, obviously that's our chief medical people making those decisions, obviously, but it's how I feel at heart as well.
Pat, what's your practice situation? Are you guys able to practice and have healthy guys out there? And is there a concern about that affecting your preparation if you are even somehow able to play on Saturday?
Yeah, great question, Will. We'll find out later this afternoon, I hope. I don't think I'll tweet anything out. But our hopes are that, we tested on Sunday, which was yesterday, around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and all our kids are going through that process right now. So we have no results from our Sunday test. We will find out where we are. I think that's important. If we get bad news in those tests, which, I sure hope we don't, I pray we don't, then, we've told our kids we plan on practicing Tuesday and so forth. So, but it all come down to, what happens on our, Sunday test, as it does every week, and on our Wednesday test and on our Friday test. But, the best thing is that we don't have to travel this week, so we're not really putting our kids on an airplane for 2 hours.
Hey, Pat, I was going to ask you, do you expect to play against Virginia Tech this Saturday? But at the same time, I guess you don't really know without those test results back, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. You don't know till it's really Friday at midnight or Saturday morning when you wake up and you get your text message that says, hey, everything's good. And again, again, we've gotten used to it. We've gotten spoiled. That the results have been great. So, we expect to play Virginia Tech this weekend. That's the expectations. Our kids were miserable this weekend. I was miserable sitting home watching everybody else play. And you prepare to play football games. And our kids put all the work in. I mean, it's like putting all the work in. You study your tail off for that English exam. All of a sudden, the teacher at the last second says, hey, that English, we're not having that. And you're like, wait a second. I did all that stuff for nothing? And that's kind of where we are. So we expect to play that Virginia Tech game. We hope we're not let down again. And it'll be up to our team and players on how safe they are out there. And, we talk constantly about wearing a mask, staying socially distanced and pretend like everybody's got it. Everybody on your team's got it. Everybody in Oakland's got it. Everywhere you go, you got to be, right here and wash your hands and be more accountable for that.
I wanted to ask you real quick about Virginia Tech's running game specifically. You mentioned it in the opening. When you look at them, is that a product of how good Hooker and Herbert are? What do you see from the offensive line? What's made it so effective?
Well, again, it's not just a quarterback, as you know. It's not just a running back. And it's not just an offensive line. It takes 11 guys. Okay, it takes receivers blocking downfield to be explosive. But I might say this offensive line is the second best O-line we faced, compared to Notre Dame. When you look at their career starts, across the top, I'll give them to you. Christian, their left tackle, has got 32 career starts. Lectus Smith's got 22 career starts. Hoffman, their center, who transferred from Coastal Carolina, has got 20 starts. Nestor's got 17 starts, and then Tenudu has got 11 starts. So they got a ton of starts up front. They got a lot of experience. They're physical. They're strong. They know what they're doing. And then, add Hendon Hooker, as your second leading rusher. Anytime you got a quarterback that can rush the football, it's the 11th man, and that's always, a dangerous thing for any defense, period.
Pat, we talked to you on Thursday, and you seemed pretty upbeat about the Georgia Tech game. And a few hours later, team activities were paused. I mean, how quickly did that happen? How did you find out, and when did you realize you weren't going?
Like that. I mean, probably a couple hours after that. I mean, you're hoping to go, maybe 3 hours out. I don't know when that release went out that night, but probably around 3:30, 4 o'clock is when you kind of, again, it seems like, sometime between, probably 3 and 4 is times when we get results back. And that's about when, again, I don't remember the exact time, but disappointing.
Pat, I don't know about you. Go ahead, Kelly.
I'm sorry. I always interrupt you. I'm sorry. Coach, what in that time frame, what happened? Did you keep kids out? Did they deep clean the whole facility? What were the steps that were taken immediately until you guys can get back together again?
Yeah, we deep clean it, I don't know the exacts, but it gets deep cleaned a bunch. But even after that, it got deep cleaned. We were, slow to, go in the locker room, make sure we're showering in small groups like we normally do. And just really, our protocol here in our facility, we feel is pretty safe and we feel it's pretty clean. I don't think anything's happening here. But you just don't know how a guy gets into your bubble. There's just so many unknowns. But what you look at as a staff is, what happened and how do we fix it? And even if there's nothing broken, we're looking to still fix it. So we got some other things we're looking at doing just to make sure. But it gets cleaned quite often, probably 3-4 times a week. It's just, and we have Billy that goes around. I mean, he wipes every doorknob, everything all day long. I mean, this guy's an angel that comes in here. So I know, there couldn't be a cleaner place.
Pat, what's been the reaction of the team?
They've been good, Jeff. They've been great. I mean, what are they going to do? Disappointed, obviously, but understanding, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. I mean, they understand. They know this thing is real. We've talked about it. We talk about it every single day. We talk about earning those games, and so we didn't earn that one. We didn't earn number 9. And to them, it's a loss, and you feel like you lost this weekend. I felt like Saturday. I felt like I lost. We lost that game. I've told you we've won a lot of them through the year, and every Saturday when we get to that game, it's a win. Okay, it's a win to get there, and we lost this one. We didn't get there, and that's disappointing. I didn't want to let Georgia Tech down, and obviously they had some issues as well. And again, there's a lot of teams around the country that are having issues, NFL and college. But that's what it is.
Pat, a lot of these postponements or cancellations have come as a result of certain position groups being affected, like, not having an offensive line or defensive line, whatever. I know you said you weren't going to get into the numbers, but with your team specifically, was that the case where it was like one position group was really affected, or were these like spread out?
I don't know. We'll find out Saturday, I guess. We'll find out when we get to Saturday. We'll find out.
Pat, how comfortable how many times could you practice? What's the least amount of times you could practice and feel comfortable playing on Saturday?
Well, we could practice once, to be honest with you, but you'd like to get 2 in. But, the problem, Will, is we're going to get these results tomorrow or today sometime, this afternoon sometime. And then if they come out bad, okay, then we probably aren't going to test. Probably not going to practice on Wednesday, Tuesday. And then our next test won't be till Wednesday morning unless we test, have a new test on I guess my days are all messed up, Tuesday. So, it's really a Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. And, do we get a Tuesday? That's all, I don't know. Maybe we have another Tuesday test. Those are all the unknowns that I can't control. And I wish I could control some of these things, but it's out of my hands.
Are you out of wiggle room schedule-wise, too? I mean, like, if for some reason you couldn't play Saturday, there would be no chance to reschedule, correct? Just because of the way it looks?
I don't know that. Maybe we play on a Wednesday, then play somebody else on a Saturday. We'd like to, we got 3 guaranteed games, like we'd like to get them in. I know that.
For the players that tested positive, how long will they have to remain isolated from the rest of the team? Is it 10 days? Or 14, and then I'm assuming they won't be eligible to play against Virginia Tech?
Yeah, it's 10. It depends on when they tested positive or had symptoms. But it's 10 days to answer your question for anybody that tested positive, and then if it's a contact, then it's 14 days for anybody that contacted. So obviously there's the contacts, and then there's the positives, and those numbers can add up pretty quickly.
Pat, you talked about coming after the Notre Dame game that you guys were really going through it and beat up, and the bye week really helped you. How much do you think that maybe, I know you said you guys were very disappointed you didn't get to play this weekend, but now that's 2 kind of off weeks where you didn't have to get beat up on Saturday and then recover going into the week. Do you think that's going to help maybe get some of you guys back a little bit faster? Because you still got players like Wendell Davis and Keyshawn Camp, who you said might play last week.
Right. I mean, it could get someone else back. But you just don't know. You don't know the injury part of it, and then you don't know where you'll be on the COVID end of it either. So, but having an extra week, we'll be fresh. But we had enough. We needed freshness way back. That's how bad our luck is. Right when we're ready to roll, we've got a fresh open weekend. We go into Florida State. Now we need to have another game too, and play Georgia Tech, and then we couldn't get it in. So we'll have another fresh week, if you want to call it, just because we didn't play on the weekend. But they practiced.
How are you mentioned the kids are doing good, but how are your seniors holding up? I mean, this ostensibly is it's their last chance to play at Heinz Field, a last chance to play in front of their family. Some of these guys, this might be you're getting to the end of their careers. just emotionally, how are they holding up, and what's your message to them?
Yeah, I think they're doing good. I mean, they're just stay steady. I mean, I think they're great. I mean, I talked to every one of them yesterday, personally on the phone. They were all great. I don't see anything. This senior class, this football team has never wavered. They understand what we were going through. This is 2020. I don't know how many days left, but I'm counting the days. There must not have been enough people say Happy New Year this year on the 1st because. I can't wait till 2021. I can tell you that. I hope it's a different year for this entire country.
Coach, speaking of seniors, Patrick Jones, what has he meant to your team?
Oh man, Patrick Jones. Patrick Jones is he's everything. I mean, he's a leader. Obviously, he's a captain for us. He's a guy that's going to be playing on Sundays. If you have a chance to watch any Sunday football, he's one of those guys. He's really become a leader. He's grown so much from his freshman year to his senior year. He's tough. He's athletic. He can rush the passer. He gets some sacks every once in a while, which I know defensive ends love to get those sacks. He's special in every way.
And we discussed last week it wasn't a typical year. So how do you handle senior day on Saturday?
It's a work in progress, but obviously the parents can't come on the field, even though our kids see the parents, just Heinz Field. That's not going to happen. Maybe if we played at a high school stadium somewhere, they'd let us have it, but it's not going to happen in Heinz Field. So, somehow we'll have some video on the video board. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but we'll do and try to make it as special as we can for those seniors in 2020. It's what it is. There's nothing else we can do, and everybody's in the same position we are across the country.
Pat, in a normal season, your guys would have final exams like in the middle of December after the regular season ends and before bowl season. But with the new academic schedule this summer and last week's game postponed, finals week is right when you guys are still preparing for regular season games. Are you guys preparing at all for the extra potential stress that the players might face academically towards the end of the season?
Yeah, we'll worry about, there's some kids that have finals this week, and then next week is finals week, Clemson week. It's, we're going to try to balance that and try to get their football work in, get their study hall in. Obviously, this weekend we said, listen, spend a lot of time on academics. So, you kind of just fill time where time is void. But obviously their academics and studying for those finals, usually there's no practice during finals week. So it is a little bit different this year for sure. And it's worrisome, as you can imagine.
Pat, you guys normally have your Sunday meetings, in the indoor socially distance on Sundays. Did you guys do a Sunday team meeting over Zoom yesterday? And
yeah.
So how did that go?
We did a Sunday meeting over Zoom, and wasn't a very long one, just to kind of give them an update. Obviously, they came over here to the facility to get their tests. Then they got their, so they were in the building briefly, but it's, we told them in and out, grab a lunch to go, and they were gone. And then we had one today as well. So we had a nice, nice special team Zoom and a team Zoom, offense, defense for probably 45 minutes today. So that was good to get that in and just talk ball and get our guys thinking about Virginia Tech.
Coach, one more question about Patrick. You talked about his development from his freshman year. I remember how excited he was when he was coming there. Talk about his development, how he's improved to be the player that he is right now. And then the last question, just how much are you going to miss him?
I'm going to miss him a ton. I'll end up, or start with the end of your question. I'm going to miss Patrick a lot. I'm going to miss all of our seniors, obviously. We spent a lot of time together through these 4 or 5 years for all of them, and they're like your sons. And we're going to miss them all. And Patrick, development-wise, you look at where he was. I don't know if he was a 2-star, 3-star coming out of high school, but he comes from a great family. Mom and dad, very, very supportive, care about him, got a great home life. And Patrick just kept going. I mean, and again, it's all about development. That's what we've done here at Pitt is develop our players. We're not going to recruit a bunch of 5 and 6 and 7-star guys out there. Where we're getting the guys we get that we think have potential, and then we develop them. But you either have character and you can develop, or you don't have character and you don't develop like you thought. I mean, Patrick's one of those guys that if you just you see where he is every year, he just continues to develop. And by coming back for his senior year, and not declaring early, he just continues to get better at everything. And again, that's who he is. I think he would have left if he didn't think he could get any better and gone to the NFL back in last year, last February. But I felt like he feels like I can continue to get better. And he's going to continue to get better when he gets to the NFL.
Pat, how important is this last stretch? I mean, it seems like if you look at the conference wide, I mean, Clemson, Notre Dame, Miami have kind of separated themselves. Tech, North Carolina. I mean, there's a big group there in the middle. How important is it to try to get these games in and maybe get you guys to sort of be able to separate yourself at least from that group in the middle there?
Yeah, I want to be separated from the group, but each game is a one-game season, and we want to win each one of them. And again, it's called pride. I mean, I got pride in our work and who our kids are and what this program represents. So to me, it comes down to pride, and I just want to keep going where we are. It doesn't matter, what happened in the past doesn't matter. Overtime, 1-point losses, backup quarterbacks, all that doesn't matter. We're focused on these 3 last games here to go, and want to win all 3 of them, and that'll make our season. That's the last thing you'll remember is how we finish this season.
Pat, what do you think are in terms of Kenny Pickett? We talked about Patrick Jones's NFL prospects. I mean, the way that Kenny has kind of grown over the last really season and a half, season and a half plus here.
Yeah, I mean Kenny's an NFL quarterback. I've said that prior to the season. I'll say it again now. I don't think there's an NFL GM, head football coach, or scout that doesn't love that guy's toughness that he displays. He's got an arm. The one thing the kids have been lucky is we've had scouts at games, so they've been able to watch live. They've been able to watch him compete, at a high level. And Kenny's an outstanding quarterback that is going to fit someone's system really well, and they're going to love how he's been coached and taught the run game and the pass game.
And you do expect to get some of the seniors who will be honored on Saturday. You do expect to get some of them back next year, don't you?
Some of them, we don't know who. I guess we'll find out who we trot out there on the field on Saturday for senior day, and then we'll kind of go from there. But being that it was an extra year, people have lofty goals and what they want to do. And just like Patrick Jones coming back, I mean, these kids have decisions to make. These young men have decisions to make. And, Patrick Jones made a great decision on coming back, I think. I think he believes that as well. And again, it's just a lesson for everyone. Can you get better? And if you can get better and you can improve your stock as a football player, if you want to play at the next level, then why would you do anything else? It's a tough league, to break into.
Any concluding questions?
Yeah, Coach, real quick about the senior. Will they have to let you know if they want to be recognized and honored, or how will that part of the equation work, since it is such a different setup this year?
Yeah, it's different, but it's no different than really, in the years past. I mean, I think some guys will make a decision before senior day saying, I don't need to go through senior day, I'm coming back. I think some guys will go through senior day and be gone. I think some guys may go through senior day and still be debating what's going to happen, after these 3 games are over. Do I raise my stock? Do I feel good coming out? What are their peoples or family talking about? So I think we'll know even, you won't know by what happens on senior day for sure, because someone could say, hey, I don't want to go through senior day, I'm staying, and then in 3 weeks say I'm leaving, So it really, until they declare, whatever that date is, whatever month that is, I don't know if it's changed or it's the same. I don't know about the combine. I don't know about a lot of things, but I think everybody's just got decisions to make, and they have time. Right now it'd be, just for senior day, it's like, hey, what do you want to do? And then they still have to make decisions, after that's all said and done.